This production comes to you in association with the Bluebell Warrington. Situated in an 18th century building in the town centre and just a 5-minute walk from the HJ Stadium, the Bluebell is the perfect destination for pre- and post-game food and drink. The 2024 Warrington Pub of the Year is now the official home of Super League Raw on Warrington Wolves match days for both home and away supporters. Super League Raw are delighted to have agreed a members-only area, allowing our community to come together to discuss rugby league pre- and post-match. So set your course to the Bluebell Warrington on match days and beyond. You are sure to be greeted with a warm welcome and a cold beer. Super League Raw and the Bluebell, the perfect partnership in enhancing your match day experience. So good evening and welcome to Super League Raw Weekly, just days away from the semi-finals of the Betfred Super League 2025. Marvellous. As you can see, the big man's back. Joel, welcome back from your holiday, mate. How was it?
Yeah, thank you. Nice to be back. Yeah, it was lovely. It's very hot, beautiful weather. And to top it all off, right at the end, I met a Lee Leopards fan called Chris. It was lovely chatting to him. He was such a nice guy. And he was the coach of the Goulburn Club. He said he brought through some of the Super League players that we've got today. I can't remember the names that he said now. It's quite annoying, but I know he said, I've got on good authority, his son Ben is a watcher of the show. So good evening, both Chris and Ben. It was lovely meeting, and hopefully I'll see you at Lee in the future next year.
Always nice to meet new rugby league friends, mate, on our travels. It's always nice indeed. Good evening, Mr. Sale. Are you well?
I'm very well. Danny Tickle, Goulburn Parkside.
Yeah.
Remember Danny Tickle? Yeah, he was a Goulburn Parkside lad. No, very good, mate. Very good, thank you.
Fantastic. So, Danny Tickle, Steph's Mr. Happy. Let's go to Greg. I could have said something then, but I held it back. So, good evening to you. Are you well?
Mr. Messi. We're not talking about Lionel. Say my head's upside down.
I'm saying nothing, mate. I'm saying.
And on that bombshell,
good evening, everybody. Well, we've got a massive show tonight. Of course, we are going to be going through our dream team. More on that later. We'll also have our coach of the year, our young player of the year. We've also got a couple of exclusive interviews along the way as well. So we've got a real packed show this evening. So we hope you enjoy it. I'm sure that you will. But before we get into all that, let's start tonight's debate straight off the bat. It'd be remiss of us not to. We don't normally do this on weekly, but because there's only two games, I think we have to. And the Saints were meant magic Saints against the Leeds Rhinos. Go on, the Saints. Absolutely incredible. Me and Steph, we discussed this in absolute detail on Round Unpacked. But boys, let's bring your comments in. Joel, what happened to Leeds, and what an incredible try for Saints.
Well, they were the most dominant team throughout the game. I'd say I was pipping Leeds to win that. They were looking so bob-on. Apologies if you hear crying in the background. That's live TV for you. But yeah, it was a game where I thought Leeds are in control here. They're gonna possibly run away with it if they carry on. And then all of a sudden, the controversial try goes up, and then right at the end, the penalty, the 80 minutes, and the 18,000 passes that happened, I thought were absolutely delicious. That is the type of rugby we all pay to watch.
Absolutely. And Graham, I've got to say hello to Graham, one of the owners of the Bluebell, our sponsors. Great to see him in the chat this evening, Graham. In 2 weeks' time, and Super League Raw descends on the Bluebell for the grand final. What a day that is going to be. Shame that you can't join us, mate. I think he's got other prior engagements. Greg, this is exactly the type of game that you want, to kick off, the playoff series. First of all, the league game in terms of the spectacle, the fireworks, and what a great way that was to start it. But then in terms of the actual match, to have a game of that not quality, it was a poor standard of game, but it was a brilliant game for all the wrong reasons, wasn't it, Leeds against Saints?
It was unbelievable. It was. I think I put in the chat, tell me rugby league's the greatest game in the world without telling me rugby league's the greatest game in the world. That moment, that moment alone would be worth the entrance fee alone. Because say what you like about the Benison try or no try, Leeds should have won that game, whether Benison's try is given or not. Yeah. All he had to do was to tackle. All they had to do was get a Saints player on the floor, ball playing arm on the floor. Saints kept alive. That pass from Sailor, oh my word. And then, and just the way it opened up. I feel for the Leeds fans because I've seen that happen to Warrington so many times. I do feel for them, but you can't take it away from Saints for keeping that ball alive like that. Was it with a second to go?
Well,
they actually
no. It was in overtime. It was gone, finished. They've just got to make a tackle, Leeds. That's all they've got to do.
Yeah. That's all it is. Incredible.
I have to say, there's a better standard defending at Goulburn Parkside than what Leeds showed in that last one. Talk about following the ball. Like, the ball, unbelievable. I mean, no shape, no structure, shocking. I mean, like I was saying to Steph lads in Round Unpacked, that's the second best defence in the league, and they were playing like under 8 in that last play.
When it transitioned from the right to the left, was it like a 6-on-1?
Oh, mate, I did all the numbers, mate. When we unwrapped it on Round Unpacked, mate, I'm counting numbers, mate. I'll tell you now, in defence, you count numbers. I'll tell you what, I'm not being funny, but the primary school 4-year-olds are better counters than Leeds were at the end of that game. It was absolutely diabolical. Take nothing away from the Saints. It
was like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It was as if Leeds knew that Saints were going to score, and no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't do anything about it.
Well, great.
It was incredible.
It was. Well, I tell you what, here's what we're going to get to Graham's latest comment in a minute because I'd love to take him up on the offer of that as long as he gets the mull wine on the bar. But I've seen, Steph, a lot of players in warm-up do that. I mean, somebody who did it all the time was Sean O'Loughlin. Every time he came, if you ever watched Sean O'Loughlin warm-up, he was always doing the pass out the back door with spin. Have you ever seen it executed as well as that in all the time you've been watching rugby league?
Yes, the only time I think was you remember the New Zealand-England semi-final when he was going into touch and he reverse passed it into the score, the winning try.
That was good.
That was when he was
not as much distance though. I'm on about the distance that it travelled.
No, but he was like 1.5 meters jumping into touch to get it. So I think that was a bit more.
You met Tommy Makinson in Tesco.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But no,
let it go, Dave. Let it go.
It's a skill to be able to do that, and the distance and the accuracy. I think. Well, you've got to, say he's just lobbed it, hasn't he? He's not gone to hit that player. It's just. It was a miracle play, wasn't it? And it came off.
It was. And, Dawn in the chat saying, of course, they've apologised. They got it wrong. Thanks for that, say Leeds Rhinos fans. You do have to feel for Leeds. It's very, it's painful to lose that. And there's no wobbles tonight because, I like a give your head a wobble. I do, but I'm not gonna play on Leeds pain. I just refuse to do it. You know, we've all been fans. We've all been hurt. I'm just going to leave it there. They're hurting enough. I don't need to do that. So there's no wobbles tonight, albeit we could have a show full of them. But no, I've got too much respect for for rugby league fans. I have. I can imagine that hurts. So there you go. We'll show the utmost respect. No wobble for Leeds Rhinos fans tonight. No, unless they do something in the chat that's worth a wobble. But there's no wobble.
I think Mark's wobbling.
Mark's total wobble. He's been like that. He's been like a Churchill dog all week. Graham again back in the chat. Here's one for the members. Graham is inviting us all down to the Bluebell for a Christmas party, a Super League Raw Christmas party at the Bluebell. Oh, I've got a meeting with Chris this week. We might be discussing that in a bit more detail. That sounds like a good shout. As long as you play Shaking Stevens and there, that's what I would say to that one. Right, let's do it. Here it is. This is the reason why he left. Matty Lees, God bless. Sienna Rose Lees, born in the early hours of the morning. There she is. God bless her with a little teddy bear. 8 pounds and 5 ounces. 5 ounces it was for little Sienna. Another member of the Rugby League family, boys. Family comes first. Welcome to the world, Sienna.
Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations to the Lees family. Yeah. You know, nothing beats that moment. So fair play to him for going and getting there.
Absolutely beautiful stuff, fantastic, really, really pleased. And again, St. Helens, you've got to give St. Helens the club a lot of raps. I mean, again, I think the 1-17 was scandalous. I mean, they got away with one considering they thought that Leeds might be getting off. I mean, the bench was so light. But you've got to give Saints a lot of credit in a game of that magnitude, allowing Matty Lees to go, putting family first. That's what our sport is all about. Fantastic stuff. Well done to Saints. Joel, were you pleased for Paul Wellens when he ran on the pitch, mate? All the season of hurt and, backbiting his head. Was you happy for our Paul?
Absolutely. He deserved every bit of glee and joy that he experienced. He's had a really tough run, more obviously towards the start of this season. And the way that the Saints fans were treating him, being such a club legend, let's call him. I know we don't want to brand that word too much, but he is an absolute legend of the club. And to be in the position that they were in, and the Saints fans giving him the stick that he had, was so unfair. So for him to have that little selfish moment, I think, was truly deserved, and rightly so.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, look, we're now down to 4 teams, which means we've had to say goodbye to Brad Arthur and to Darryl Powell. And who better than to pay tribute to them men than Matty Peet? Here we go. And just finally on coaches, we're down to 4. Brad Arthur, Darryl Powell, probably arguably 2 of the most improved squads or certainly performances in Super League this year, Wakefield and Leeds. I'm sure you'd echo that in terms of the great job they've done and what they've provided to the league this year.
Yeah, definitely. 2 different what's the word? 2 different scenarios for both clubs. Wakefield transitioning up so well. Again, it starts 2 years ago. What Darryl's done there and the recruitment. It's a club that's building and putting things in place that are going to last for a long, long time. Darryl and Matt and the staff and everything they're building there. But it's been a fantastic first season back in Super League, and I like what Darryl said last week about not being happy and where they build now, and I think they will 100% be a even greater force next year with his experience and the way they're going to recruit. And then Brad, I just like the way he's gripped the club, and he speaks so much sense. Again, he knows what winning looks like, and I think the mark of the coach is when they improve the players they've got. Aside from recruitment, you look at some of the players that he's managed to get an improved level of performance on the team. I'm sure they'll be disappointed with how it ended, but I think he's been brilliant for Super League, Brad, and maximum respect there.
So there you go, boys. Matt Peet paying tribute to Brad Arthur and to Darryl Powell this afternoon. Steph, very nice words indeed. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, no, they've both done brilliant jobs for the clubs, and probably two of the ones who were under, a bit of pressure, to achieve, with Powell. A lot of people said he wouldn't do what he did, so phenomenal achievement by him to get Wakefield to the playoffs, and Brad Arthur improving from that 8th to a 4th place finish. Unfortunate to go out in the way they did, but he's no matter their exit, Leeds have had a great season, and all you can ask from your team is improvement, and they've jumped a big thing, and they'll be a big threat next season as well.
Nige Bennett, straight in with the first drink of the night for the boys. Thank you, Nige. This is a very nice Glenlivet to your health, sir. All the very, very best. And actually, boys, can I extend also this particular one to Bazza Kingston and his family? 10 years ago, a couple of nights ago, he lost his nan. So, Bazza, this one as well is for your nan, mate. Hopefully, she's looking down on you over the course of the next couple of weeks for your KR boys in the playoffs. Joel, your thoughts on Matty's tribute to the two coaches that have left us?
Yeah, it's a shame when these things happen. It's been great to see that they've put in the work they have done to get the clubs back to where they need to be. Like Steph said, the amount of potential scrutiny they could have had, but they've done what they do best, and they back up what their beliefs are. They instill it into the players, and then they've had a great season. Whether you win or lose these playoff games, obviously it's heartbreaking for the fans. But when you do your club proud, which both did, I think speaks volumes, and that ultimately comes from your coach, because he's the one that instills the life into the club, the team.
Yeah, agreed. And for Darryl Powell, Greg, just what the doctor ordered after his time at Warrington, and it's a long time since the start of the season, and about half had a point to prove.
Yeah, but he's proved his point. I think I said in this chat last week that it's vindication for Darryl Powell. It's a big word, absolution, when there's you're criticised and a lot of things go wrong, and you prove your doubters wrong. I'm made up for Darryl Powell. I really, really am. Lee was far stronger on the night, even though I fancied that a little shock might happen there. Lee were far too strong on the night. What do I know? But yeah, and Brad Arthur, again, he had a lot of critics. He had a lot of people to prove wrong. Leeds, we were all mocking him at the beginning of the season. Are they going to finish 8th again? And, a different night. Sorry, a cat's just come into my room. A different night, different circumstances, and they're in the semi-finals of the playoffs, looking for a grand final place. So, such are the margins, the fine margins that we deal with.
Indeed. Right, let's carry on. Nice one, Nige. Good evening to Callum. Hello there, Callum. And let's give a couple of shout-outs. Callum's back. Good to see Callum Calver. Craig Thorpe with us, Rebecca Frey. Dawn Kirby, of course, is with us. We already said about Dawn Baker. Aidan Simpson is with us. Call him Simo, Dave, dear me. Let's not be formal. John Wilco's with us as well. Mark's with us. Paul Boardman's with us. Yeah, loads of people with us. Keep getting in the chat. Good to see you guys. All the very, very best. Right, let's get into some other stuff now. As you know, this is sold out, the Everton Stadium, but you can still get your tickets. You can still be in the draw. Only 2 weeks away, and two lucky people, well, one lucky person, two lucky people are going to be coming to the Everton Ashes game, courtesy of Super League Raw. We are planning to do another trip from the Bluebell for that, more post my chat with Chris this week. But yeah, more announcements in terms of maybe making that a good full day job in incorporating the Bluebell. But yeah, if you want to get involved, do the QR code or go to our website, superleagueraw.com. Get your tickets now for Ashes Game 2 at the new Everton Stadium. And boys, on the topic of that, great news tonight. 45,000 tickets now gone for Wembley. I have heard that Rodri Jones is hoping to get to another 20,000 on top of that over the course of the next few weeks. That would be some going if we could get 65,000 for the first Ashes test at Wembley, that would be marvellous. But I think I heard him say, all told, 115,000 is the total attendance thus far for the three combined, which is it's quite healthy, chaps. It's quite healthy. Reg, do you want to go first on that one?
Yeah, phenomenal amount of tickets. It'd be nice to push it nearer to 70,000 for that Ashes test. Let's up the marketing. Let's ramp it up now once the grand final's over and done with. But yeah, I mean, Everton sold out. Headingley sold out. That'll look great on the TV. And what's Wembley's capacity now? Is it 90,000?
Yeah, 90, north of 90, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're not. I'd be surprised if we got 90,000, but 65, 70,000 at Wembley, that's going to look healthy on TV. Just shows the interest there still is in international football and how eager people are. It's been a long time since we played against the Aussies, so people are really eager to see the matchup, I think.
Absolutely.
And John Bentley pull our England shirt.
Absolutely. Won't be happening. Joel, you can sell this one, mate. Jermaine McGilvery is going to be inducted into a Hall of Fame on the 3rd of October. That's this Friday night. Tickets still available. There's the QR code for that. If you go to our socials, we have shared, or we will be sharing in a moment, the link for that as well. Joel, give it your best shot, mate. Sell this to people in and around that area.
Yeah, this is definitely not one to be missed if you're in and around the Huddersfield area and beyond and want to come. Definitely get your tickets for this because it will be a sellout event. The people that are putting on the show have informed me that there isn't that many tickets left. So if you do want to get your tickets, please do that as soon as possible because this is going to be a great night. Pete Emmett, I've been in his company before and also been to events where he's been the I don't know what the word you want to call it, the MC. Yeah, the compare. Yeah, he's absolutely fantastic, so funny, and obviously having Jamie Peacock as a guest speaker as well. I think can sell itself. But for Jermaine, this is a really big night, and he's going to be a big one for Jermaine to come back to Huddersfield and to be at the stadium he spent most of his life at. And this is something just as a thank you to Jermaine. For everything he's done, so please, if you get a chance, get a ticket and get down there. I'll be there. So hopefully we'll see you.
Yeah, you need Jermaine. Go and have your autograph take. Go and get your autograph and have your photo took with Joel. Absolutely, he's Jermaine. He's only a legend of the Huddersfield Giants. If it all said and done, dearie me. Has anybody seen? What's the name of your mascot?
Big G.
Big G. Yeah. Has anybody seen Joel and Big G in the same room? Like Superman and Clark Kent. Just putting that out there. I'm only joking. It's not really him. Right. Shall we find out who the Super League Raw Coach of the Year is, gentlemen? Here is the announcement that many may be waiting for. Who is the Super League Raw Coach of the Year? Here we go. It is now time to announce the 2025 Super League Raw Coach of the Year. And the award goes to Willie Peters of Hull KR, having won the Challenge Cup, the League Leaders Shield. What an improved season for the Robins. Congratulations to Willie Peters. So there you go. Willie Peters is the Super League Raw Coach of the Year. And Steph, you would expect nothing less from a good self. The full analytics are now on the screen. For the courtesy of the podcast, I'll just quickly run you through these. First of all, with Willie Peters, last year finished second. This year he's got the League Leaders Shield and, of course, the Challenge Cup. Points scored 786, which is the most of the other three contenders. And points conceded 292, which is the least of the other three contenders. He's beaten the top 6 8 out of 13 times with a win percentage this season of 73.2%. Close on his tail is Adrian Lamb of the Lee Leopards, gone up 2 places year on year from 5th to 3rd. Points scored 619, points conceded 452. Also beat the top 6 8 out of 13 times. A win percentage of 71.9, not to be sniffed at that. Brad Arthur, gone from 8th to 4th. Brilliant performance from Brad Arthur. One of the, other than Dowell, of course, the best improved team in Super League. Points scored 610, points conceded 310. He's beaten the top 6 7 out of 15 times, a win percentage of 73.2%. 0.3, just over 50% last year. So that's a really big increase from Brad Arthur. Good effort from him. And of course, Darryl Powell, promoted in 2024, 6th in 2025 in Super League, scored 688, which is more than Lee and more than Leeds. That's incredible from a newly promoted side. Points conceded 458. He's beaten the top 6, 5 out of 15 occasions at 53.3%. Now, whilst, yes, people are saying, Matt Peet's got a better win percent, I know that. Willie Peters won the League Leaders Shield and he's won the Challenge Cup. Adrian Lam has improved the Lee Leopards. Leeds have improved dramatically and Darryl Powell unbelievably. So that's the reason why Matt Peet was not shortlisted, because, of course, they've lost the League Leaders Shield, they've lost the Challenge Cup, and it's been a little bit down on last year. Steph, I'll give you first shot on this one. A deserved winner, but also some really good performances on the screen, mate.
Yeah, I think all the coaches on the screen have been phenomenal this year and all improved in their own ways. But for me, Willie Peters, when you end a trophy drought of 40 years, not only once but twice, there can be no other person who wins it. It's as simple as that, and for consistency as well. They were great last season, finishing second. To back that up and do what they've done with the Challenge Cup and the League Leaders Shield this year, absolutely phenomenal. But I think the biggest stat that screams off the screen there with both of Lamb and Willie Peters is beating 8 out of 13 of your top 6. Especially this season, most sides have picked up, the ones they're supposed to win. That's the real big one that separated the teams that are first, second, third, and fourth. So Adrian Lamb's had another great year, but the biggest actual league position jump is Darryl Powell, isn't it? So he deserves massive credit there for what he's done with a newly promoted side. I know how hard that is as a Leeds fan when we came up in 2023 and did the same thing. I think, did Lamb win Coach of the Year that year? Because we won the challenge. We won the Challenge Cup as well, didn't we?
Yeah,
he did.
He did. When you won the Challenge Cup, he did.
Yeah. So I think if Darryl had done something similar, then he maybe, with a Challenge Cup, then it would be a straight fight between him and Willie Peters, I think. But no, phenomenal. And what Brad's done for Leeds, I said he was the one who had to, do the improvements this year. He's the one to watch for me at Leeds rather than a player. And he answered that in spades. He's been phenomenal. And what's been really impressive from Brad's point of view, I think, is the defence from Leeds has improved tremendously. Adding Connor into the halves has helped their attack. That's been great as well. But I've been really impressed with their defence this year as well. So all the coaches there well deserve the recognition of being on a shortlist. But Willie Peters is spot on.
Yeah, Greg, when the official one come out, Matt Peet's had a great season by any standards, and he's a great coach. There's no doubt about that. But for me, you've got to recognise improvement, and there's no doubt about it. As Steph has already said, what we're looking at here is 4 coaches where there's no argument. All 4 of these teams have improved in 2025, and as a result of that, the coaches deserve the recognition for it.
Of course I do. I couldn't agree more with you. As Steph says, Willie Peters ends a trophy drought of 40 years. That takes some doing. The pressure of that as Warrington fans with not winning the league for 70 years. We all know that pressure. That's a big monkey off their backs. It's always next year, mate.
But actually, on that point, Warrington Academy, for those who don't know, Warrington Academy beat Leeds Academy on Saturday. It was a great game of rugby league. And despite rumours to the contrary, it is available free of charge on Wire TV. It was on the day and it still is now. So if you want to go and watch the Academy final and go and look at some really good, not only Warrington, but also Leeds players. Greg, you were there. Zach Lead, second row at Leeds. Well worth tuning in for that, isn't it?
Oh, mate, what a player he is. What a player he's going to be. Zach Lloyd, number 12. There's nothing that lad can't do. He can score tries. He can kick goals. He can burst tackles. He's got power. He's got pace. He is going to be a massive player for Leeds. Well, he should be in the next 4 or 5 years. What a player that kid is. Unbelievable.
He runs lines.
And Warrington did well to control.
Yeah, he runs lines like a draftman draws them. Incredible quality player. Joel, last word on you, mate. No argues with Willie Peters, fully deserved, mate, yeah?
Yeah, not at all, because from last year finishing second, which I remember us saying on Weekly last year that there was every chance that they could have come top. They were doing really well. They were doing some great stuff, not just behind the scenes, but on the field. Especially as you can see, finishing second. But then to back it up and win, still 2 trophies so far this year, really says a lot about the squad, because to be in the top 4 or even the top 6 in the league is difficult any year. But to back it and go one step further and win 2 trophies, that just says so much. But a little shout out once again. I know Steph mentioned to Darryl Powell to get him from lower league down up to promotion and then finishing in the playoff places. That doesn't happen very often.
Well, right on cue, young Oliver Stokes has just hit the chat saying hi to us all. So what better time than to see what would Oliver say? Here we go. Banging or hanging?
This is what would Oliver say on Super League Raw. I love watching the NRL games every Sunday morning and enjoyed this week's game between Penrith and Brisbane. I still think there's a lot we can take from the NRL, including the 2 points for a drop goal. I remember the game between South Sydney and Brisbane earlier in the season, where Mitchell scored a match-winning drop goal from his own half. It made the game more exciting, and I think that's one thing we can bring across here. What do you think, Super League Raw?
Yes, so there you go. Another fantastic edition of What Would Oliver Say as the boys come back. And yeah, I mean, we've debated this a couple of times, and I agree with Ollie. I think, we've seen changes in the game, haven't we, over the years, chaps? But Joel, I'll start with you on this time. 2 points, drop goal. I think it's a good thing.
I do, because it's the hardest kick in the game. There's nothing harder. The players train for years to be able to protect that. Any of us can throw a ball on the floor and kick it, and probably 90% of us will p-roll it. But for them to be able to hit it with such precision, especially between 2 sticks, also being charged down by 4 or 5 players at a time, deserves far more than 1 point. I think it's a bit disgraceful, honestly, being 1 point.
Well, what I would say, Joel, like me, I'm sure you appreciated the embroidery there, the shirt that the boy had on, by all accounts signed by both Sam and Tom Burgess.
Oh, really?
It's a prized asset. Yeah, what a fantastic piece of merchandise that is to have over his shoulders.
It is, Ollie, and I've always liked Ollie. I like him even more now. You're amongst 2 Rabbitoh fans here, Ollie, so we certainly like him, mate.
Yeah, no, very, very good. Very, very good indeed. Right, let's get into, I think we all agree with that, so we'll move on in the interest of time because we've got a lot to get through. Steph, coming to you, Lewis Dodd, hanging, banging, let's get into it, banging and hanging. Lewis Dodd, he's had a good payday. He's had a very good payday in the last 24 hours. Thought to be going to the Catalan Dragons, banging and hanging.
It's banging for Lewis, like you say. He's probably a bit of both, actually. From his point of view, it'll be hanging because he'll have want to gone to the NRL and ripped up a storm. It's not happened for him. Played a lot in the New South Wales Cup, but I think this could be a really good move for him. He's financially sound. He's getting a good payout from the Rabbitohs. I don't think it's his full contract, but it's a good chunk of it. And he'll go to Catalan if that's what happens. He'll be getting a good wage there. So for him, it's absolutely banging. But I think he's more suited to our competition than the NRL. The halfback position is so difficult to break as an English player.
He was never.
So,
he was. I mean, we said this at the time, didn't we? He was never an NRL halfback.
Yeah, but there's always that slim chance. You never know. And I truly believe he got signed off the back of the drop goal to win the WCC.
There's a lot about the Bullies recruitment now.
Yeah, it says a lot when Wayne Bennett went in and didn't even know who he was. So that says a lot as well. So he's not come out of it badly. He's had a holiday in Australia for a year and a half, whatever it is, He's had a great payout. But for him personally, if he does go to Catalan, I think that could be a really good fit for him. I really do. I think he'll fit in that team well, and hopefully he can reignite his career because he wasn't a bad player. He's always been a pretty decent player, and I think with that maturity, what he has gained in Australia will be experience. He'll learn from some of the best over there, and if he can bring that into Super League, then he could be one to watch next season.
Yeah, agreed, Joel. The next one is Shane Wright. Many St. Helens fans asked who was Shane Wright when they signed him from the Salford Red Devils. Well, they know who he is now, and he's just been given a 2-year extension. What a way to cap a great week for Mr. Wright.
100%, banging all round. And this is something that the Saints are very good at. They give people an opportunity, and if they play well, they seize it, and then they just keep them going with it. And that says a lot about Paul Wellens because, he understands what it's like coming through, having to play for lower league clubs and not as good quality, and then being part of St. Helens' first team squad week in, week out. He knows what it feels like for the lads. So when someone shows some promise, as Shane has, then he's giving him the just rewards.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's banging news. A lot of chat going on over the previous comment around Lewis Dodd. I mean, Dawn Baker saying maybe Saints should re-sign him. Personally, can't believe I'm saying this from a player that's coming back from the NRL, but I would certainly not put George Whitby down the pecking order for Lewis Dodd. Would anybody?
No,
never in a million. No. I've seen far more. Whitby, for me, you've got to build a team around him. I mean, that lad's going to be exceptional, absolutely exceptional. Volstagg saying no time. Let's get back into this. Oh, there, I don't know why I'm moving around the screen. There you go. Let's get back into. Here we go. Red off for Tony, signed for Catalan. Steph, hanging or banging?
Suffered.
Sorry, Casford, my apologies. Yeah, Casford.
It's all right. We were just talking about Catalan. Yeah, no, really good signing for Castleford. He's had his injury problems, hasn't he, at Wakefield? But hopefully, if he can get a full season under his belt, I think this could be a really good signing for Cass. In the games he did play, looked a real decent player. So they're looking for stability, Castleford, aren't they? They want people to build a team round, and I think Renoff brings that to that. He's got those leadership qualities. Model professional. I think this is a really good signing for Cass.
Yeah, absolutely. Dawn is asking about Lomax is due to retire. The problem is they're both scrum halves. That's the problem, Dawn. You're talking about 2 scrum halves. Lewis Dodd's a 7 and Whitby's a 7. So you wouldn't compromise Whitby and Lewis Dodd for me.
Saints need a 6. They need a 6.
They do need a 6. That's the problem, Dawn. That's the problem. Right, okay, next one, Joel. This one's been announced. Artur Romano is off to Hull FC. Hanging a banging, mate.
It's possibly banging, I think, for Hull FC. It's a astute signing. It's good. They clearly know what they're doing with signings this last year. We questioned at the start of the year whether Hull FC had made the right choices in some of the players that they'd got. And clearly they did because they had quite a good season. But I think this one's a good one. He's always been a player that we've always liked at Super League Raw. He's a great player. He's solid. He does the job what he needs to do, and I think he's going to go just as well this next year.
Yeah, I think he's a good squad player. I think he'll struggle to get a starting berth, but I think he's a solid squad player. Volstagg in the chat. This is an interesting one. As we've got a bit of time, let's have a chat about this one. Harry Robertson will step in for Lomax at 6. Well, you shake your head, Steph. He's got a bit about him. I mean, whether he could adapt to 6, but he's only young. No, you're not seeing it.
Not a 6 in memory, man. No.
He,
I'd say he's more likely a fullback, which is obviously Saints don't need him in fullback. I've liked him at centre. I think he's played really well in the centre. He's not. It's his passing game. You need an. You're talking Mikey Lewis kind of standards. I rate Harry Robertson as I think he could be as good as the. I think in time we'll be talking about Robertson in the same vein as Mikey Lewis and players like that. Not in a 6 role though. He hasn't got the passing game for it. He's not got the offloads and stuff to people.
Charles Whitehouse in the chat saying Aliens need some speedy players like Regan Grace. They need some grace. They need some divine inspiration. That's what they need. But that said, they're still in. They're still in. They're still one of the four. It's not that bad, is it? It's not that bad at all. Happy days. Right, Steph, we'll stay on you. Delighted for friend of the show, Mark Applegarth, Coach of the Year in the Championship, fully deserved. Another man who has really shone since his departure from Wakefield.
Yeah, and I don't think he did a bad job at Wakefield, as daft as that sounds. In terms of what he had to work with, I really felt for Mark in that position. I think he did the best he could with the you say you never blame your tools, but I think he had a good case for blaming his tools at Wakefield at the time when he was there. But no, great job, great coach, great bloke. You know, when we had him on the show, he was, spoke really well. A bit like in the same mold as Craig Lingard for me. Very similar. You know, real genuine, honest guys. Love the rugby league, and it's great to see Mark do so well at York and thoroughly deserved. It was great when they won the 1895 and seeing them on the York Bridge taking that over. And he's brought success to that club. I've got a funny feeling he may be coaching in Super League next year.
Well, I think everybody's sort of hoping. I think that York come up. I think it's a great part of the world, and I think it'd be interesting to see how they do. There's worse candidates. Let's put it that way. There's worse candidates. Glad to see Reggie back. I can bring him in for this.
Apologies.
Dennis Betts, Coach of the Year. It had to be Dennis, didn't it, for what he's done at the Wigan Warriors this season?
Without doubt, yeah. Apologies for that. Our internet provider has decided that they're going to update.
People don't tune in to hear about your internet provider. Get on with Dennis Betts.
I am just apologising, sir. So, Dennis Betts has done an absolutely fantastic job. Last year the seeds were sowed for this Wigan side. I enjoyed what I saw from them last year, being involved in the women's game. They've taken it on a notch this year. They've been invested. The club's invested in them, as I've been banging on all season about this. But he really has turned them into a really tight unit. He's blended youth and experience. He's brought some young kids through who are really, really great players. I'm delighted for him. I'm really delighted that he's got the recognition for what he's actually done at the Wigan club this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more, mate. Couldn't agree with you more. Before we go to the next point, Volstagg. Oh, yes, there you go, Volstagg. He's getting us a drink because of him and his mate Leonardo DiCaprio. For those people who listen to the Final Whistle podcast, you'll know all that is about. So this one, Mike Volstagg, all the very best. Actually, hopefully Volstagg's joining us for the captain's run as well. We want Saints, Hull KR, all the teams that are involved, Wigan, etc., Lee, of course, on the captain's run this week. Give it a little bit of flavour this far out from the semi-finals. Right, the last one, of course, for me, one for us all to celebrate, the news that Mikey Lewis is signed at Hull KR until the year 2030. This is wonderful news, Mr. Scholes. We're going to have one of the Super League's best plying his trade in our competition for the next 5 years. What is there not to like about this?
Well, I think we can all agree, and for those who don't agree, I think a daft, that he is definitely good enough for NRL. And the fact that he's staying in Super League, I think, is such a fantastic nod to him as a person and to the competition that we're in. Had this been 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, it'd have been gone. But no, the competition is getting better. We're seeing the younger players really stepping up. Mikey's been one of them for many years, and to see that kind of loyalty, I think, is just amazing. And that's going to raise the roof for any KR fan now who watches him playing week in, week out. He's an absolute hero for him.
What this does do, Steph, what this absolutely does do is that if Willie Peters, or when Willie Peters goes back to the NRL, which will probably be within that 5 year period, I can't see how it won't be. What it probably does is secure Hull KR a fee, because there's a part of me that thinks that Willie will take, or will attempt to take, Mikey with him when he goes back.
Yeah, you think so, and I'm kind of torn on this one, because for the competition, it's brilliant news. You know, we've loved watching Mikey Lewis, especially over the last 2 seasons. He's been absolutely phenomenal. Part of me wants to see him test himself in the NRL, though. You know, this is unfortunately for us, that is the ultimate competition. and I want to see the best players, playing at the best standards. Can they actually do it? And a bit like George Williams did, when he went to Canberra, phenomenal. Did a really, really good job for them. And if Mikey signed a 5-year deal, that takes him to his pushing 30, so it's unlikely he'd go to the NRL then. But you never know. It may happen. But for Super League, it's great, and for OKR, it's great. And there isn't an NRL clause. That doesn't mean he's not going to go to the NRL, but it does mean, like you say rightly, is if the NRL come knocking, they're going to have to pay KR a great fee. That's good from Mikey as well, that he's not insisted on that, because that shows his loyalty to the club. That should that happen, at least his club's going to get a good compensation out of it as well. So it's a good deal all round for me. I would have liked to have seen him go to the NRL and test himself, though.
Well, I think he will. I mean, Greg, he's 24 now. I would say 3 years. I think KR fans would love Willie Peters to stay for another 3 years. So, in 3 years' time, 27 at his pomp, the door. I mean, I think maybe the fact that he's got a young family over here at the moment, and of course, we won't go into the details around Mikey's, what you hear about in terms of, I don't think he's with his partner, etc. That makes it complex. But when, his little one's a little bit older, maybe 3 years' time, I could see that happening, Greg, couldn't you?
I could do, has he, he may not feel he's ready for the NRL yet. He might not feel he's ready. He might feel he needs to, as good a player he is, he's not. He still needs to develop as a player before he can test himself. But yeah, there'll be lots of reasons. But it's a great marketing coup for OKR to sign him up before semi-finals football and before grand final if they get there. And you think of players like Jackson Hastings and Brodie Croft, who were signed to large contracts. And they demanded a fee. Salford demanded a fee for them both. So I understand what Steph's saying. I understand what Joel's saying. I think we just have to enjoy players like Mikey Lewis for as long as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Craig saying if we want to build up Super League, we have to keep players like Mikey. Couldn't agree with you more. But I think from an England perspective and from a Mikey, it's like Morgan Knowles, isn't it, next season? All of a sudden, Morgan's no longer a Saints player. He's an English lad over in the NRL, isn't it? We're going to be fascinated to see how Morgan goes next year. On the topic of Willie Peters and him sticking around, let's hear what he had to say. Here we go.
I mean, speaking of many more years, yourself, look, we want the best players on the field. Of course we do, but we also want the best coaches. And obviously what you've done since taking over from Tony has been exemplary at KR. You're naturally being touted down under. How long can we expect to keep Willie? Because we want to keep Willie in our competition.
Yeah, thank you. All I focus on, I've learnt this as I've got older, is focus on the now. I've said at some stage, if there's an opportunity, I'll certainly look at it and like to test myself, but I'm just focusing on the now. I don't want to be putting myself and going for jobs over there when we're in a semi-final and we've got a trophy to win here. If I'm not showing the commitment by doing that, and then I'll go back to the players and ask the players to buy in and be committed, you lose them straight away, and that's a contradiction. So, as I said, I've always openly said at some stage I would like to, to coach in the NRL, but rugby league changes pretty quickly, and I'm grateful and enjoying what we're going through now, but it's certainly the support staff that I've got who work extremely hard and they're loyal, and it's the playing group are the ones that do it each week. We facilitate it, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Look, you are going to be going to go down as a legendary status at OKR for what you brought to him this year, regardless of that, Willie. And on behalf of the neutrals who don't support OKR, thank you for the brand of rugby that you've got your team playing. It's been tremendous to watch throughout the season. We wish you nothing but the best.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Good on you. Cheers.
So there you go. There was Willie Peters, a quick chat with him. I'm going to start with Greg. Interesting what he said about if I go looking for a job down under, I can't ask my players to commit. What did you make of that, Mr. Nixon?
Yeah. Interesting comment. I think he's only. It's only sensible, I think, for us all to think that he will eventually sooner or later be looking to go back down under, whether Hull KR fans want to hear that or not. And yeah, he may well be have his eye on a couple of players he might want to take with him. We know that Sam Burgess has hinted at this in the past, so why not Willie Peters?
I think you've missed my point there. I'll go with Joel. Joel, yeah. So Joel, Sam Burgess openly went for an interview this season.
Yeah.
And you've got Willie Peters there saying to me, I can't expect my boys to commit to me unless I'm committed to them. I found that really fascinating, didn't you? From maybe a Warrington perspective, which Mr. Dixon didn't set the bait. Go on.
Didn't set a hint there, no?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was thinking that could be a little dig there, possibly. But you know what? He's right, though. He's right. And this is the thing. You know, we just want people to be transparent and truthful. And he's done that. He says, yes, I do want to go back. But for now, I'm here and I'm staying. And that's all the fans want. The KR fans aren't going to be in uproar. The players aren't going to be in uproar. Because he's been very clear. He said, look, yeah, I do want to go, but just not yet. I'm happy where I am right now. And then when he said about rugby league changes very quick, it does. Anything could happen. It could be next week that they turn around and they say they don't want him. It's not going to happen, but it could happen. And things can change. But I do like his open and transparency and his cheeky little dig there at Sam. That was pretty cool.
What I would say, Steph, and I think this is what KR fans have got to bear in mind, you know, coaches are more often than not, a coach is sacked. So it says a lot about Willie Peters, if he does walk, just how good a coach he's been for KR, because very few get the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, they do, and it's a bit like Saints, isn't it? You know, with with Wolf and they've gone on their own, you know, because they bettered the team. So that's what. It's the best way to go out, isn't it? And it doesn't feel like it at the time, but they always leave the team in the strongest possible position in that scenario as well. In most situations, I think Willie might extend his contract at KR off the back of this season. I think that's what he was alluding to there, especially with Mikey committing for 5 years. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw I don't know when he's contracted till, Willie Peters. But I know they've announced a new sponsor today, main sponsor, haven't they? And I won't be surprised if there's more news coming out of KR off the back of this season to try and tie Willie down for a few more years.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Fantastic to meet with Willie Peters, proper bloke. And that full interview is on its way to the members over the next 24, 48 hours. The Jez Litten one will drop this later on this evening, tomorrow morning for you members. So that also is a great one to watch as well. And no, Heather, it wouldn't have been me. I'm not taking that one on the chin. I did not give Jamal Hanley a flu. There's lots going around at this time of the year. I'm not taking the credit for that one. And all I would say is, if that's the case, then Wigan, KR, all of them are coming down with flu. No, weren't me. I'm not having that one. Not having that. No. Look at Steph there. Steph's trying to throw fuel onto the hellfire. Shocking. Right, it's now come to that point in the show where we're going to announce the Super League Raw Dream Team 2025. Now, before people start throwing teddies, okay, we will go through each of these positions and it will be justified. It will be justified. So unlike the Dream Team, where you get no analytics, you get no real thought process, you just get 13 players thrown at you, what me and the boys are going to do is we're going to go through why this is the Dream Team for Super League Raw 2025. There's a couple of positions where even now, after they've been picked, still open to interpretation. It really is. There's some positions that are so close where you're going, do you know what? I'm not arguing with you. There's a case for them all, but there is a methodology in there and there is a reason why. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax. Here comes the Super League Raw 2025 Dream Team. It is now time to announce the Super League Raw Dream Team 2025. And at fullback will be Jai Field of the Wigan Warriors. On the wing, Lewis Martin of Hull FC. In centre, Tessie New of the Lee Leopards. Also in centre, Jack Broadbent of Hull KR. On the wing is Liam Marshall of the Wigan Warriors. At standoff, Mikey Lewis of Hull KR. Scrum half, Jake Connor of the Leeds Rhinos. Prop forward, Alex Walmsley, St Helens. At hooker, Jez Litten, Hull KR. At prop, Herman SASA, Hull FC. In second row, Dean Hadley, Hull KR. James McDonald of the Leeds Rhinos. And at loose forward, Morgan Knowles, St Helens. And on the bench will be Lachlan Lamb of the Lee Leopards, Mike McMeekin of Wakefield Trinity, Lachlan Miller of the Leeds Rhinos, and Caius Fiatilli of Wakefield Trinity. Head coach, the coach of the year, Willie Peters. This is your team of the year for 2025. So there you go. That is the 2025 Super League Raw Dream Team. Like I said, we are going to go through each and every one of these. Volstagg saying what a great team that is. Outstanding. That's a good start if we're getting a bit of praise early doors. But there you go. That's the team. That's where it's at. Like I said, there is methodology behind all of these picks. So we'll kick straight off at fullback and we'll go through them. Jay Field and Lachlan Miller. Now, there's been a lot of talk over Miller, but when you actually put these two side by side, actually, it's a pretty straightforward case for Jai Field. Don't get me wrong, Miller's been exceptional, absolutely exceptional. But for the purposes of the podcast, Jay Field has played 3 games more with 25. He has scored 13 more tries than Miller. Is that right? So 15 more tries than Lockie Miller. He's made 11 more tries than Lockie Miller. Miller's the top tackle buster in Super League, 184 plays. Jai Field's 115. Clean breaks have gone the way of Jai Field, 27 to Lachlan Miller's 16. I don't know if Greg's still having trouble. Yeah, I think Greg's still having trouble. So there you go. So that's that. And then just to cement this particular spot, and then I'll bring the boys in. In terms of, let me just find it. Fullback 2. There you go. Other stats for you here now. Carries more for Miller. He's made more meters, possibly about 1,000, just nearly 1,000 for Miller. But look at the team of the weeks. Jai Field has been in 4 team of the weeks to Miller's 3. Jai Field has been in 5 team of the month to Lachlan Miller's 1. And Jai Field has also got player of the month in the month of September. So when you look at the whole thing, you take everything into account. I'm comfortable that Jai Field is our number 1. Steph, over to you.
Yeah, exactly the same. Completely agree. Miller's had a fantastic season. I think if you just went on visuals, in that Leeds team, Miller has been a standout. But then if you look at Wigan, especially when they didn't have French, Field was their most consistent performer. This is the good thing about Super League Raw in the way that we do it in terms of our team of the weeks, team of the months, etc. But the big thing for me was the assists and the tries. Miller's been brilliant, like I say, carrying the ball out. He's been elusive. I'd hazard a guess to say he's probably had more tackle busts than Jai Field this year. They've had both different skill sets, but for me, Jai Field's been phenomenal this year for Wigan and fully deserves that place.
Yeah, absolutely. Nige, we're going to come to it, mate, in terms of it. Like I say, I will walk you through it. A lot of people saying Davies and Marshall. We're going to go through it, unlike, where Manor still goes behind the screen and other things go behind the screen. I'm going to try my best to justify this to you. Like I say, it's very, very close, but there is a reason and there is a method behind it. And Steph, you've just said something there. The way we do it, of course, team of the weeks, team of the months, all that kind of stuff. We have to take everything into account as well as the stats. We also look at, have they done it in clumps or have they done it consistently across the season? There's loads of things to take into account when you're picking these teams. We like to think we do it in depth. From your perspective, Joel, are you happy with it?
Yeah, it's quite shocking, actually, the difference in the stats. I thought it would have been far closer than it was. Had you asked me without knowing any stats, who would you prefer to watch? I'd probably said Lockie Miller. Raved about him this year. But you just can't argue with them stats. Field's been head and toes above the rest. And as Steph said, when Bevan was out, it forced him to step up even more, and that's probably where he gained even more traction from that alone. And he's a fantastic player, no doubt. But yeah, when you look at stats like that, there is no comparison.
No, there's not. So Jai Field is the Super League Raw fullback of the year. Congratulations to Jai. That's a double for him, of course, the official one, and of course into ours. Right, we now go to the wing spots. And look, everybody would agree Lewis Martin, top try scorer, is in. I don't think anybody's arguing that Lewis Martin is in. So the last place goes to either Tom Davies, Liam Marshall, or Joe Burgess. And it's really close. It's really, really close. Surprisingly, Burgess only played 19 games this season. That surprised me when I went into the detail of it. But again, for the purposes of the podcast, Davies has done 501 metres, Marshall 469, only 278 for Joe Burgess. The metres, 3,794 for Burgess, 3,746 for Marshall, very close. Burgess well back at 2,261. Then we go into the team of the weeks. And again, interesting, team of the weeks is team of the weeks. Budgie's had a couple of hat-tricks this year, which has certainly helped him. Davies, 3 team of the weeks, Marshall 4, Budgie 5. So he's had more team of the weeks, but this is where it gets interesting. Team of the mums. Remember, when we do team of the mums, we look for consistency over 3-4 rounds where they backed up over a period of games. Davies 2, Marshall 5, Burgess 1, which is really interesting. And in terms of man of the match performances, only Joe Burgess has had a man of the match performance. So that there really, the team of the month is the one for me that probably got Marshall a big tip in Marshall's favour when I was deciding who takes that last spot. In terms of other things as well, going into this, if you look down on this one, in terms of appearances, like I say, 25 and 25 for Marshall and Davies, 19 for Burgess. Tries, very close, 17 for Davies, 15 for Marshall. Budgie, 18, but a lot of them came against Salford and Castleford. Just saying. Just saying that. Assists, 1 for Davies, 7 for Budgie, 9 for Marshall. Tackle bust, 63 for Davies, 88 for Marshall, 57 for Burgess, and then clean breaks, Budgie Moore 28, 22 and 21. So that I have to be honest, before really getting into the detail, and this is why I gave myself an extra week, before really getting into the detail, I'm thinking Davies all day long. I'm telling you now, I was thinking I'm going to be putting Tom Davies in my dream team. But when I got into the detail of it, when I looked at what we've done this season in terms of team of the months and all the things that we've done around the Super League trophy, I'm very comfortable putting Liam Marshall on that wing, and I didn't think that would be the case, but I am. Joel, over to you first this time. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's one stat in particular we have to pay close attention to back up the point you've made, Dave, and that's the team of the month. When someone gets in the team of the month, you say so regularly that it's the person who's played regular throughout the whole month and performed. And that you can't get away from. And he absolutely annihilates the other two in that. He's been in 5. So for most of the year, he's been the best player of each month for most of the year. And then you look at this. So then, like you said, you would have said it being Tom Davies. Joe Burgess only played 19 games. Had he played more, he might have been the one that got the spot. But he didn't. And that's the point. Marshall has played the most games, and he's clearly got the most points from that, and you can't argue with the team of the month. 5 appearances is a heck of a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you consider there's only is 8, it's 8, isn't it?
Yeah,
this season? It's 8, isn't it? I'm right. I'm saying 8. I'm doubting myself, but while I'm looking at that, I'm pretty sure it is 8. Steph, I know that you were when the first dream team came out. Me and you both talked about it, Steph, on the phone. We said, Marshall, really? And this is why I wanted to give myself a bit of time to do it. Having seen what I've put in front of you tonight, Steph, can you see why perhaps it is Marshall that should be on that wing?
Yeah, definitely. It surprised me in terms of those numbers. What I would say, I think if Burgess had played those 6 extra games, I think he'd have been a shoo-in.
Yeah.
Just because of his try scored like Martin, he'd have been, 24, 25 tries from if he'd have played those 6 extra games. But Davis has been exceptional for KR, and on the eye as well. His work ethic, everything. He's become a proper team player. does a lot of the hard stuff as well, does Davis. Marshall, I think the reason why everyone's surprised at Marshall is, and I said it about Wardle, by his standards, it's been not as good a season as you would have expected from him. But I think that's related to tries, and that's always going to be a portion to wing play, because that's what we expect from wingers. But when you look at the stats, they're all very, very, very of a muchness. But we reward consistency for our team of the months, and to be in the team of the month 5 times, that says to me that over them that whole month he's been the best winger, or one of the 2 best wingers. So you've got to factor that in. I mean, I'm absolutely gobsmacked Burgess has only been in 1, but you've got to factor in the fact that he must have missed a game within some of those months to not be in that team of the week, team of the month. So yeah, I when you first brought that up on the screen, I was shocked that Marshall was in 5 of them. Yeah. I didn't remember that. But
well, I mean, look, Phil's saying we're putting too much light on Turner. Phil, look at the other stats. He's done more tackle busts. He's ran as many meters as Tom Davies has. You know, he's made more assists than Davies has. So, you know, for me, the real competition here is between Davies and Marshall, not Burgess. And actually, when you look at Davies and Marshall has virtually done the same amount of meters on less carries. He's done more tackle busts. Yes, he's 2 tries behind. So, you know, team of the weeks, he's done 40. So you say about team of the months where a badly placed game, he's been in 1 more team of the week than Davis this year. So I get your point. Look, if Davis was in, without getting into the detail, there'll be a lot of team of the years that will have Davis in the team. A lot of team of the years will have Davis in the team. And do you know what? I've got no issue with that. I've got no issue with that, because it is very, very close. But what we pride ourselves on is getting into the detail. And when you get into the detail, Marshall does deserve the 5 shirt this year. And I can't believe I'm saying that, because like you, Phil, and like a lot of other people, I thought Davies was a shoo-in. I really did. So that surprised me when, like I say, I've gone into it, and I have. So I don't know, Reggie, can you hear us? We can't see you, mate. No, Reggie's having a mare. Right, let's get into, so less carries, he's lazier. Come on, Phil. Okay. Right, okie dokie. Let's get into the centres. Dear me. Right, centres. Let's get into this then. So we'll start off with obviously the contenders, and here we go. Let's have a quick look. Here we go. So these are the centres. So, and surprises at centre I've put there. Surprises at centre, of course, the official dream team was Hiku and Matt Hanley. And I've picked 2 different players, which will have surprised many, many people. So let's start off with the carries. Tessie New, 382, 400 for Hiku, the most. Yamala Hanley, 329, and carries for Jack Broadbent, 379. In terms of the meters made, nothing between Hiku and Tessie New, 3254, 3237. Hanley, just over 2,000. Jack Broadbent, 2753. Okay. All right. Sorry, Phil. I do apologise. But, you know, there's a lot to take in on this side of the screen. I'm looking at chats. I'm looking at graphics. I'm trying to bring the boys in. There's a lot going on here, Phil. A lot going on. Look at team of the week. You've got 5 for Tessie New. You've got 6 for Petter Hiku, 3 for Yamala Hanley, and 5 for Jack Broadbent. Then you get into the team of the months, 6 for Tessie New. He was also player of the month in July. 2 for Hiku, 2 for Yamala Hanley, 2 for Broadbent, but he was player of the month in June. So you can sort of see from that graphic why I've been leaning towards New and Broadbent over Hiku and Hanley. You then go into, and like I say, people say Wardle. Wardle's nowhere near this in terms of team of the weeks, team of the months, and all the rest of it. Nowhere near it. So, you know, there's been a few people talking about Jake Wardle. Jake Wardle is a Rolls Royce of a centre. But these boys this year have been better. I'm sorry, but they have. We then go into the others, the appearances. Hiku's the most, as is Broadbent, both 26 apiece. Tessie New, 24. Yamala Hanley, 22. Tries, that goes the way of Broadbent, 13. 11 for Hanley, 7 for Hiku, 6 for Tessie New. Assists, 14 for both Broadbent and Hiku. 8 for Hanley, 1 for Tessie New. Tackle bust, 141 for Tessie New. Second best in Super League. Tackle bust for Hiku, 79, 102 for Hanley, 70 for Broadbent. Clean breaks, very, very even in terms of Hiku and Tessie New, 12 apiece. Clean breaks, 14 for Hanley, 19 for Broadbent. Tackles, 148 for New, 342 for Hiku, 384 for Hanley, 196 for Broadbent. And tackle efficiencies, 88% Hanley, the best, 84 then New, then 83 Broadbent, and then 81 Petter Hiku. So there you go. Now, for me, I like the shape. Again, when I do a team of the year, I'm trying to look for what I'd like in terms of varying skills. Broadbent had to go in. He had to go in. He's been too good not to go in. You know, we always talk, don't we, about players missing out on dream teams because of their versatility. Broadbent this year, for me, had to go in. He had to go in. And he's played more games at centre than in any other position. He's played a few at fullback. He's played a few he's played, just to clarify, of the 26 games, he's played 15 at centre. 15 have been at centre. So for me, I've got no issues putting him in at centre, especially when his stats are as good as they are. So this, for me, I think will cause a few ruptions. Steph, we've had chats over Hanley, Hiku, Tessie New. Over to you. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Hanley and Broadbent are very similar in terms of the way they play the centre position. So I can see where you've gone with that one, and I think obviously the decision maker for me for any centre to get the player of the month is phenomenal. You know, to get that, so that is a massive plus for any player to get that, regardless of where they are. So, and Tessie and Broadbent are both had that. But yeah, Tessie New, yeah, his tries are okay. His assists are nowhere near when you look at the others. But completely different way that Lee used Tessie New. He's a bulldozer. He's a Conrad Hurrell in his prime kind of centre. So you need variety in your team. It's not all about the stats comparing directly for what they bring to the team. And I think some teams have the best balance when they have a player like Broadbent and they have a player like Hiku to play the game completely differently in exactly the same position, just one's on the left, one's on the right. But yeah, I have no problem with. I think Broadbent's had a phenomenal season, phenomenal, and I think he'll nail down that centre position next year at KR. I think that's his. Amaya Hanley, what an improvement from him last season to this season. You know, he's getting talks of being included in the England training squad, which has been brilliant for him. And to get the recognition of Dream Team again, phenomenal. But for me, I would have had Tessie New over Hanley. Hiku, I think he's been great, but I don't think he's as good as he was last season.
I mean, he's been great over 2 seasons. I think if this was a dream team combined, I think he'd be in all day long. Because I think 2 seasons he's been outstanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I think he's got a nice balance. And look, Tessie New for me, probably, and we'll get into this in the winter, who's been the best import or new signing to Super League 25. He'll be in that conversation. There's no doubt about that. I just think for me, like I say, Broadbent 15 times in centre. I've got no issue putting him in there. Jack Broadbent had to be in. He just had to be. He's been incredible, and any KR fan would probably say he has been colossal. A real surprise in terms of what he's delivered this season. Joel, you comfortable with Tessie and Broadbent, mate?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. Because if you look, like Steph said, if you look purely just on stats, then you wouldn't have New in there. But as Steph said, you've got to look at the type of player he is. Look at the tackle bus. He is that hard runner that hits people. And because of that, he's not going to get as many assists as your others. Hiku's known for his offloads. Hanley's known for his speed and his agility. You know, and Broadbent, I think he's been an all-rounder. If it was up to me, I'd have put Hanley and Broadbent in there just purely based on the stats because I think it were good. But Tessie New has had 6 team of the months for a reason. He has been the most consistent, and he's obliterated the other rest in the competition for that. So you've got to look at the type of player that you have in them positions, and Tessie isn't your run-of-mill centre. He's a maverick type.
I think Steph's point was a good one over centres. I mean, when you think of who tends to win Players of the Month, the official Player of the Month, it's very seldom you see a centre win it. Very seldom. But again, we do call it straight. And in June, Broadbent's stats were just ridiculous, as were Tessie's in July. So look, that's where it is, and that probably is a contentious one. And I could feel, there'll be a lot of people looking at that going, I don't know, but like I say, I'm comfortable with it. Equally, I would not be filthy if Petter Hiku, Jamal Hanley, Jack, if there was a combination of them, I wouldn't. But I like what Tessie New's been doing this year. I think he's been so potent on the left, and the work he's also done down the middle when called upon. I think he's been exceptional. And Jack Broadbent take a bow. And this is the thing: Jack Broadbent would have been nowhere near a discussion for the dream team, nowhere near one. And he's been absolutely brilliant. He's been brilliant. He's been outstanding. So I'm delighted to give Jack his shirt because I just think he's been incredible this year for Hull KR. Right, we now go into the halfbacks, boys. Greg's gone, his Wi-Fi's gone, so he's done for the evening. So apologies for Mr. Nixon. He will be back next week. Right, where are we going first with this? Let's go this one first. So, of course, we put on the graphic on our socials, Mikey Lewis, Jake Connor, Lockie Lamb. And, of course, I've picked Connor and Lewis because we've done it down the middle. We've put a scrum half at scrum half and we put a standoff at standoff. I'll be very honest with you. If I was picking two halfbacks, it'd have been Lamb and Connor. I'll just say that straight away. And when you look down this list now, that might surprise a few, but genuinely I would. I think Lockie Lamb this year, 41 assists, absolutely incredible. Lockie Lamb this season. I think Lewis has had a good year. Don't get me wrong. Lewis has had a good year. But I just think Lockie Lamb, 41 assists in a season, and the improvement of him in terms of his kicking game. Lewis has improved his as well. That's where I would have gone. But I've gone Connor and I've gone Lewis. Appearances, Lamb, all 27. Brilliant. Connor, 25. Lewis, 24. Tries, Lewis, 19. Connor, 7. Lamb, 4. Assists, Lamb, 41. Connor, 30. Lewis, 28. Tackle busts, Lewis, 100. 38 apiece for Lamb and Connor. Clean breaks, 26 for Lewis. 5 for Connor. 7 for Lockie Lamb. Attacking kicks, 147, Mikey Lewis. That's a good effort, that. 111 from Jake Connor, 96 for Lockie Lamb. Kicks in general play, 295, 227, and 258. If we go over now to the other stats, one moment, I'll just bring them up. Here we go. There you are. Mikey Lewis has done the most carries, 366, to Connor's 324, to Lamb's 320, but you would expect that. He's a standoff, he's not a scrum half. He's done more meters, 2647, 1352 for Connor, 1292 for Lamb. And then we get into the team of the weeks, 9 for Lewis. Most of them, in fact, the vast majority were first half of the season. That's where they were. Connor, 7, Lamb, 4. Team of the months, 3 for Mikey, 4 for Jake, and 5 for Lockie. That said, player of the month, 1 for Mikey, 1 for Connor, none for Lockie Lamb. So very comfortable it's Connor and Lewis. I think Lamb had to go on the bench. I brought the bench in this year because there was so many real close ones. So I felt, right, I've got to bring a bench in this year. I can't not bring a bench in this year. Hence the reason why we've seen Lockie Lamb first name on the bench, because I think he deserves it. Joel, Connor, Lewis, I mean, all three of these, it's a testament to the season. All three very worthy of being in a Dream Team 2025.
Absolutely. Mike has been head and shoulders above everyone in them regards. Much closer between Jake and Lockie, though. The difference is you can't really compare Mikey with this because his stats are so much above. But when you look at Jake Connor and Lachlan Lamb, Jake is someone that, yes, he's going to set your teammates up, but he's going to score you a lot. Whereas Lachlan, he can score, of course he can, but he's far more averse to trying to set your players up, and is the man who marshals the field around really well. So that's why he might not have as many tries in there, but you look at his assists, it evens itself out in that regard. But 5 times being team of the month, That's what gets you in there because he has been so good. I'm surprised actually. I'd Player of the Month because he has been very good, and we have waxed lyrical about him. I think it's right that he's on the bench. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's come. I think he's come close a couple of times in terms of team of the month. But I think when you look at the stats side by side, against going into the detail, there is I feel for Lockie Lamb because in any other season, Lockie Lamb's in at 7. The other thing where Lamb's concerned, Steph, and we've said this a few times on the phone, is I think Lockie Lamb is so crucial. I mean, he really is so crucial to the Leopards this year. I think he needs some assistance next year so that there's not as much weight on his shoulders. But I think the part that he's played is pretty much been pivotal to your third place finish and where you've gone this season, mate.
Well, you could say the same thing about Jake Connor. Leeds have been garbage when Jake Connor's not played. So it's most teams, unless you're you're blessed like a Wigan or a KR, would struggle taking out those players. But I said when the dream team came out, you can't compare Lachlan Lamb with Mikey Lewis. They're two different. They're not the same position. And we call them halves. It does it disservice because they're two very, very different roles. So I've no problem with it. I think Jake's had the biggest improvement, I would say. I think if you put Lockie Lamb in that Leeds team, would he do the same as Jake Connor? I think Leeds would still be in the playoffs if Lockie Lamb was playing for Leeds. That's the difference. But Jake Connor's had a massive impact on that Leeds team this year. Fully deserves not only for the way he's played, but also for proving people wrong as well, including myself and including everyone who challenged him. He's had a phenomenal season and thoroughly deserves his place in the team of the season.
Agreed. And Kelly McCourt, thank you very much indeed. Good evening to you. Thank you very much indeed for that. Really appreciate that super chat. Right, okay. Let's now get into the front row. And many people would have been a little bit aghast when they saw nobody likes Mike McMeekin more than me. Nobody does. But Mike McMeekin left out, and he had to be left out because Alex Walmsley walks into the team of the year. And how on earth this didn't happen, I will never, ever know. 26 appearances, the same as Kai's Tilly, Herman SASA and Mike McMeekin, 24 piece. Tries 4 for Alex Walmsley, 8 for Herman SASA, 4 for McMeekin, 8 for Tilly. Then assists, 2 for Walmsley, none for SASA, 6 for McMeekin, 1 for Tilly. Then we go to tackle bust. Top tackle buster as a front row forward, Herman SASA, 130. Second highest tackle buster as a front row forward, Alex Walmsley, 113. McMeekin, 33. Tilly, 67. Gulf in difference. I'll say it again, gulf in difference. We then go to clean breaks, not really their job. 9 for SASA, 8 for McMeekin, 7 for Tilly, 6 for Alex Walmsley. Then we go into tackles, all of them, fantastic. That's where McMeekin excels. 778 for Micah and 96% efficiency. Then it's Herman SASA, 598 at 94% efficiency. Then it is Tilly, 538 at 93% efficiency. And finally, Walmsley, 483 at 94% efficiency. We then spin this over to the other thing that we're looking at. Meters, carries, all the good stuff. A prop forward's job is to carry the ball hard and break tackles. That's exactly what Alex Walmsley has done. 417 carries, 3,123 meters. That's a back. That's not a prop. That's back stats. 3,123. Then after that, it's Herman, 367, 2,585. Then Mike McMeekin, 310 at 2,323. And then Kai's Tilly, 272 carries for 2,167. Team of the weeks. Walmsley's been in 4. Herman SASA 5. SASA 8. McMeekin 5. Tilly 7. Then we get into team of the month. Alex Walmsley, 5 out of 8. Herman SASA 2. McMeekin 3. Tilly 3. Top threes, Tilly 7. SASA 7. Walmsley 4. And McMeekin 3. On the basis that a front row and I say this every year, a prop forward's job is to run hard down the middle. Nobody's done that better than Alex Walmsley. That's his job. To break tackles. He's second only to Herman, who is also in our team of the year. Those are the two biggest stats of any prop forward. If they can pick up some tries along the way, marvellous. If they can be the assister, marvellous. But ultimately, that is their job, and to turn up in D. And every one of them has got a brilliant tackle efficiency. So for me, it had to be Walmsley. It had to be SASA. Steph, over to you.
No, completely agree on this one. I think the Alex Walmsley and Herman SASA, two phenomenal props. But how good would it be having Mike Meekin and Fatili coming on after 30 minutes to back them up? That would be, that would be some advantage to your side if you had that. All these four have had fantastic seasons. Herman SASA really unlucky to get that horrible injury with the last few games to go. He should have been in the team last year, robbed by Matty Lees being in there, although Matty was good. I think we all agreed he shouldn't have been in the dream team last year. It should have been Herman. So for me, no complaints with this selection. I can't. You can't go against this. I think stats is one of for positions. It's great for some positions. It's not so good for others. I think with forwards, especially prop forwards, stats say everything.
Yeah,
because it gives you your work rate, all that. It's very easy to start a prop position, and Alex and Herman SA thoroughly deserve their share in the dream team this year for us.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Trout. Let me tell you now, if you put Trout, if he was to put Trout's stats on that screen next to these, let me tell you now, you would not think it as good. And don't get me wrong, Trout has been very good for Lee. Played second row and he's played prop. I'm not saying Trout's had a bad season, but his stats are nowhere near what is on that screen. Nowhere near. So I'll just put that straight out there. Like Owen Trout, love what he's about. I think he does a great job for Lee. He's got great feet, but in comparison to these four, he's nowhere near. Nowhere near, but he's got years to go. He's still developing Owen Trout. He's going to be a phenomenal player. Phenomenal. You know that, Joel, of course. You happy with this selection, Joel?
Very much so. Because there's a stat that's not in there that possibly should be to argue his point even more if it needs to be argued, is age to performance ratio. In rugby league years, Alex Walmsley's granddad status.
And you can tell him that, you're big enough.
Yeah. But and I say that because look, I've played at prop forward. That carries 417 with 3,123 meters is out of this world. That's like world class for any Super League prop. But when you're the age of Alex and he's doing it, the question then is asked of what's these other props? Why are they not putting that same amount of effort in? Now we know all of these are different things that are taken into consideration in games and stuff. But Alex has been head and feet above everyone, and I think them two stats alone, the carries and meters, you can forget every other stat. They're the two that have blown him way above everyone else.
100%. And I think, I want to go back to this. I just want to go back to this. They're the centres stats. Let's just put that out there. Right? You've got Myla Hanley in the dream team. He's done 2,000 metres, and Alex Walmsley down the middle doing the hard stuff, doing over 3,001. He's not in. It's an absolute outrage. It's an outrage. And I'm not picking on your Myla. Your Myla's had a great season, but you try to do 3,100 metres down the middle over 26 rounds, and then at the end of the season, you're overlooked for a dream team. Alex, mate, I take me hat off to you. Everybody questioned Walmsley. Was it good that they extended his contract? Was it the right decision? He has answered every critic. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And look, it goes to show I'm no lover of Saints. I say this every week. We call it, I believe, and I'm going to go out on a limb, we are the most unbiased podcast that you're going to find on Rugby League. I'm going to say it right now.
100%.
100. I'm not, because we just call it straight. And Alex Walmsley is absolutely 100% deserving of a dream team place in 2025. I feel for him, but he's in ours, and that's all that matters. God bless. Mr. Wormsley. Right, we now go to the hooking spots. Where are we, hookers? Let's go in here. Is this it? Here we go. Is it? Which one's this one? Ah, there you go. So we now go to hookers. And look, this is probably one of the easiest. Nobody's arguing it's Jez Litten. Nobody's arguing it's Jez Litten. He's walked it. But just to be fair, I thought it was right that we gave a few raps to some others. And I think Brad O'Neill has surprised me coming back from his ACL and the way in which he's gone about it. And Jared O'Connor, Volstag's agreeing. Volstag's agreeing that we are unbiased. Thanks for that, Volstag. You'll do for me on that one, my friend. And Jared O'Connor, who I think's had a brilliant year for the Rhinos. And I think the interesting thing about O'Connor and O'Neill is they're very similar. Jez Litten has got it all. He's just got it all. You know, Jez Litten has got that much. I run out of boxes. There's a 40-20 that I couldn't put on the screen. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous, young Jez. But let's go through him anyway. Jared O'Connor, 26 appearances, same as Jez Litten. Brad O'Neill, 22 on his comeback year. Fantastic. Tries, 1 for O'Connor, 8 for Jez, 2 for O'Neill. Assists, 2 for Connor, 6 for Jez, 3 for O'Neill. Then we get to tackle busts. 19 for O'Connor, 50 for Jez. Brilliant. 30. And people say, well, where's Edwin Pape? By his standards, he's fallen off a bit this year. You know, and that's why that's why I've not looked at him. Nobody likes Edwin Pape more than me.
He's been injured.
He's been injured. He's not been firing. And me and Steph speak a lot, and even Steph have said that, you know, he's been a bit bitty here and there because he's been carrying knocks and things like that, and that's why he's not there. You know, we can't put him there if he's not been consistent.
Most missed tackles in the league.
Absolutely, mate. Exactly. But we love it. We love Edwin. You know, love it. Would have loved to see him at Warrington, rotating with Danny Walker. Damn right I would. Tackles, 1,047 for Jared, 795 for Jez, 537 for Brad. Tackle efficiencies. Jez the worst, 91. Of all the things that Jez could work on, maybe it's his tackle efficiency. I don't think he's going to lose much sleep at 91%. Jared O'Connor, 94. Brad O'Neill, 96. Take a bow, lad. Great effort. Dummy runs, 73 from O'Connor, the most in Super League, 125 for Jez Litten and 40 for Brad O'Neill. Now, I'm just hoping that I can find the other one. Whilst I'm doing that, Joel, do you want to pay tribute to Jez Litten? Because it's an absolute shoo-in.
Yeah, of course it is. And also, you know, you made a bit of a joke about his tackling. You know, I'm going to come back onto that in a second, but, you know, to be an attacking 9, which he is, you know, to be at 91%, I think is quite incredible because he isn't meant to be tackling as much as he does. So the fact that he's got the amount of tackles under his belt that he has, I think is quite incredible because he's a runner. And you look at the dummy runs that he's done, the amount of meters he's made. Look at them meters there. I didn't even see the stat when I said it. You know, you can see the type of player he is. You wouldn't imagine him to be as defensive-minded as he is, but he does do it so well. And the amount of runs that he's made, we've all just marvelled at him, how he can just dart around anyone. He's like how Sam Tompkins used to be. You couldn't lay the glove on him. It was so hard to grab hold of him. And being so elusive, that's why KR have been such a serious threat this year in particular.
I couldn't agree more, and that's why he got their Player of the Year. Just to go through these stats before pass to Steph. Carries, O'Connor 127, Jez Litten 187, Brad O'Neill 56. Meters made, 936 for O'Connor, 1,501 for Jez. Incredible. 406. That, I mean, again, highest dummy runner in Super League. Incredible. He can't half get some runs, Jez Litten. 466 for Brad O'Neill. Then we get to Team of the Weeks. 4 for O'Connor. Brilliant effort. Brilliant effort. 5 for Jez. None for O'Neill. Team of the Mums, 4-4 O'Connor and Litten. So, like I say, great season from Jared O'Connor. Top threes. This is the top 3 players in a game, in one game. Jared O'Connor was in the top 3 for his side, the Leeds Rhinos, on 2 occasions. And here we go. Jez Litten, 8. And when you consider the quality that's around Jez Litten, who's fighting him to be the top 3, and of course the opposition players, you know, let's not forget, sometimes 3-2-1s are across both sides in a tight game. For him to have been in the top 3 players on the park, in our opinion, in 8 of those goes that he's played, just goes to show what a wow of a season. This was a straightforward call, wasn't it, Steph?
Oh, easiest one of the dream team. And the interesting thing with the hookers is we tend to categorise them into defensive hookers and attacking hookers, where I think Jez falls into a category of both. He's exceptional, probably more going forward, but his defence is superb as well. And we mentioned Edwin Ipape. On Edwin's day, he's in the same category, I think, where he can, be explosive as a hooker going forward, but defensively ruthless as well. Probably Edwin's more on his defensive side, actually, in that respect. Jez is probably more on the attacking. But I think both Brad and Jared fall into more defensive categories than explosive go forward plays. Jez has just been consistent in both aspects of the hooking role. Easiest dream team choice this season by a mile.
Yeah.
Without further ado, let's hear from the man himself.
So here we are with Dream Team number 9 and the Hull KR Player of the Season, Jez Litten. Congratulations on that award, mate.
Thank you, appreciate
This is a dream season, surely, for you personally.
Yeah, I feel like I've played consistent rugby for most of the season. Still a lot to improve on, but yeah, proud to play a part in this team who's had a bit of success this year, but hopefully we're not done just yet.
Wow, lots to improve on. Relentless defender, 40-20 in you. Rubber kicks have come on in leaps and bounds this year. One of the most feared dummy runners in the comp. What are you working on?
Everything really. I think if you ever feel like you don't need to work anymore, you've lost it. So you're always looking to improve. I mean, I have some games where I'm more consistent in my attack or defence, but just trying to bring that full 80-minute performance in. And I've done it a couple of times this season, but still looking to do it more.
18 made the game at the highest level. We at Super League Raw talk about Jez as almost a complete hooker. He can run. He knows when to run from dummy half. His tackling is immense. He's got a good kicking game as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it must be a privilege to have Jez in the team.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a complete hooker. And you can't say that about too many hookers or players in the game. And that's not, giving him too many raps, because he's genuinely a complete hooker in terms of, you break the game down, he can do everything as a hooker. Like you said. So the area that he needed to work on and improve was his consistency, because he'd probably do it 1 week or 2 weeks and then he'd fall off the week after, and or in games he'd sort of go in and out of games, where now if he's on the field for 80 minutes, he's playing for 80 at a level, and he's consistent in everything he does. Certainly I think having a guy like Mickey Mack has helped him in terms of understanding the levels of fitness that you've got to get to. And Jez has gone after it this year, and he got our best player at our awards night on Saturday, and he thoroughly deserved it. I thought Peter Hickey was not far behind, and obviously Dean Hadley. So 3 guys that are in the dream team, got our top 3.
You mentioned your teammates. Jez got the OKR Player of the Year at the weekend. He's having an incredible season. It must be a privilege to play alongside Jez.
Yeah, me and Jez go back a long time, and to see his growth over the last 3 or 4 years, especially this year, to play alongside someone, who has that speed out of dummy half and defensive work as well. He's not the biggest fella, and I take my hat off to him, because we're similar sizes. He pits me on the height size, but he throws his body weight about, and he's a massive credit to this team. And he's had a phenomenal season this year. He's picked up the player of the season at OKR, and he's been picked to the dream team here. And I really hope he does get picked for the England squad, because the hard work and dedication what he has is next to none, and I feel like he deserves his spot.
So there you go. We hear from Jez. We've heard from, we just echo all of that, but I thought people would like to hear from the man himself. Great season. As Steph rightly said, probably the easiest pick of the night, without doubt. Right, let's get into the second rowers. I think it's important that we go right the way through these teams. I just need to find them. That's the problem now. Where are we? Where are we? Done that one. I'm guessing it is this one. Could be wrong, could be right. Oh, right. Fantastic. Right, this is an interesting one, because Junior Nsemba, a lot of people, wrote Junior off this year. Let me tell you, Junior Nsemba, people will be looking at Adley and thinking, whoa, how's Junior Nsemba not in the dream team? But again, he started the season like a train, and then he fell off a bit. But again, you look at that 5 team in a month. All of them came in the first five team in a month, and then he fell off unbelievably. In terms of carries, he's done the most: 298, 277, 278 for James McDonald. Meters, 2,037 plays, 1,807 for Hadley, 1,804 for McDonald. Team of the weeks, Junior's done more, 512. Team of the months, 502. And people will be thinking, wow, what's going on here? How can this be? The next slide is why I've gone with the dream team and why I've not felt the need to change it when it comes up. If I did the right one, it'd help. 1 minute. Here we go. Hopefully that's right. No, it's not. Where's the other one? I don't know. Are you surprised by that, Steph and Samba there?
Yeah, it's how we decide to categorise, isn't it? Because if you look at those on that slide, when you see Junior's team of the week appearance and stuff like that, it surprises me a bit. Like I said earlier on, in terms of the Marshall one, I think it was, in terms of how many team of the weeks he's been in. I wouldn't have, based on Junior's performance last season, I wouldn't have thought it'd have been that many this season. I think he has had a slight dip in form. I don't know whether it's skewed by earlier performances and whether that's me looking at it now as the season's gone on. Junior's a great player, really solid player. But I don't know if it's because teams have worked him out a little bit this year, know what they're going to get, and try to deal with it, and maybe double teamed him in defence or whatever. It just doesn't feel like he's had the season that he had last year. Whereas Dean Hadley been exceptional this year, but even more so James McDonald. I think he's been absolutely class. Former Wigan Academy products, I think James McDonald came to Lee for a couple of games as well. We were gutted at Lee when we saw him. We could see the potential. And he went to Leeds, obviously got that Super League contract because Lee was still in the Championship at the time. We'd have loved to have kept him. But what a season he's had. You talk about a breakout. I think James McDonald's been outstanding for Leeds this year. And he's probably the one I'm most pleased for, that he's got the dream team this year. I think he really deserves it.
Yeah, McDonald's. But I've been, I've been absolutely barking about McDonald all season. He's just wowed me. He's been absolutely incredible. Dean Hadley, and again, Junior for me. Do you know what? I was very, very close to putting Junior in this team. Very, very close. However, great to see Alan Bagley. Alan Bagley, the winner of the season ticket, no less, and the Warrington Wolves shirt. He's in the chat. Alan, be in touch with that, of course, as we get closer to the new season. But Dean Hadley, this is the key one for me, tackles. Junior in December, 566, 89% efficiency. Dean Hadley, 909 and at 94% efficiency. James McDonald, incredible on both sides of the ball. 8 tries to Junior's 7. Only 2 assists to Junior's 8. But again, going to tackles, 936 to Junior's 566. 92% efficiency, plays 89. James McDonald's a shoo-in. If Junior in December was posted in the dream team, I couldn't have argued with it, and I would have done before, and I would have done before getting into the detail. But I think Hadley deserves it. I really do. I think Hadley deserves it. I think he's played, really strong games this year for KR. But I was very close to changing it, Joel, and putting December in. I'll be very honest.
Yeah, and you can see why. Because Junior and James both have that same, I would say, you kind of put them in that same category of the kind of all-rounders. But as Alan said in the chat, when Walters came in, it kind of snuffed Junior a little bit. Yeah. And that's not his own fault. When you're not good and you end up either being injured or have a bad game or something or whatever, and you get taken out, somebody else takes your place, and that's just how sport goes. But yeah, Dean Hadley's been amazing. His defence has been unreal. You saw in the Challenge Cup final how good he was. It was absolutely incredible, and I think he's next year going to even have a better year. I don't see him going any worse. I think he's going to get better.
I agree. Well, look, when it comes to a good second row, there's a man that knows what a good second row is all about. So let him pay tribute to these two and the man that he's going to be coming up against on Friday night. Hi Liam, nice to meet you. You well?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Obviously, dream team last week, James McDonnell and Dean Hadley in the second row, a position that you've graced on many occasions. A word for those two and the achievement of those two players this year?
Yeah, firstly, Dean Adley, been outstanding the last couple of years. Very, very well deserved. I wouldn't be shocked to see him get an international call-up as well this year. I think the way he goes about his business is under the radar, gritty, gets all the dirty work done, and really key part of Hull KR's team. Jimmy Mack, known him for a while, being at Wigan and seeing him come through the system, develop as a player, and really fitted into his role at Leeds. Like how he's played his game, and again, fully deserved his position in that dream team.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you're coming up against another really good player in Frankie Holton. I'm really impressed by Frankie. His defensive work is exceptional. It's going to be a real challenge for you, that, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You know, he started his career at Hull KR from right, and was always a strong body to play against them. But I think he's developed his role under Lammy there, and playing outside of Lachlan Lamb as well. He runs some good lines as well, and defensively very strong. So we know he's a big body, and be a tough, tough challenge on Friday night.
A lot of seasons to compare it to, but how do you think you've done personally this year? Have you been happy with your game?
Yeah, been a year what's been challenging at times, but overall to get in the position where I am in the team at the moment and lead the team like I have, then I'm happy where we're at the moment. But there's still a bit of work to do, and hopefully we can end the year on a high.
There's no doubt, mate. You've been one of the top second rows of your generation. It's been a privilege watching your career go well. Best wishes for the final if you get there, and good luck at the weekend.
Thank you very much, mate.
The legend that is Liam Farrell. I can't think of anybody better to pay tribute to two Dream Team second rows than Liam. And of course, him tipping the wink to big Frankie Holton, who he's going to see in closer quarters this coming weekend. Marvellous to catch up with Liam Farrell. Right, the last place, of course, and again, we're not going to dwell on this because I'm very conscious of the time. We've still got Young Player of the Year to do, and we'll probably have a bit more of a conversation around that. This one, pretty straightforward, loose forward. Again, we just put two people up on the screen with him. Every conceivable stat. It's Morgan Knowles. Morgan Knowles absolutely just rinses everybody else. For those listening on the podcast, we'll probably put this up on our socials. But trust me, Morgan, there's just no comparison between Morgan Knowles and Cade Ellis and Elliot Minchella, who we compared him to. I just felt that Cade and Elliot have both had good seasons again, boys. Would you agree with that?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, good seasons for both of them. And like I say, when you get to the stats again, Morgan, not as many carries as Cade Ellis. Cade Ellis has done him there, but again, team of the week's 5, team of the month's 1, man of the match performances 4, man of the match performances for Saints this year 4. Mm-hmm. Incredible, absolutely incredible, fantastic stuff. So yeah, like I say, the stats we'll bang them up on our socials for you, but Morgan Knowles eschewing. Right, we're very conscious of time, so here we go. Hey, Steph's got the bigger picture. Look at that. God bless him down there. Melbourne Storm take on Brisbane Broncos. What a Sunday you've got, ladies and gentlemen. What a Sunday. The Melbourne Storm taking on Brisbane. Brisbane, a fantastic comeback at the weekend. Again, incredible. Penrith, no more. Their era has gone, and now it's going to be either the Storm or Brisbane. Boys, in a word, Joel, who do you fancy, Melbourne or Brisbane?
Oh, I'm going to go Brizzy. I think Brisbane just might do it.
Fantastic, Steph.
I know Melbourne for me. I think Melbourne will do it.
I think Brisbane's got the momentum. I'm going to go with Joel. I'm going to go Brisbane. Right, we then move on to this little beauty. Once that's over, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, York take on Toulouse on the Sportsman. It all comes down to this. Again, Joel, York or Toulouse for you?
York, I think they've got it in them. Yeah.
Well, round 2, Toulouse beat York 7-6, but then in round 23, York beat Toulouse 16-8. Steph?
On me, I'm going for Toulouse.
You're going for Toulouse. Home advantage, I'm thinking. Home advantage, I'm going to go with our good mate, Mr. Applegarth, and maybe, just maybe, he gets the result. And then if that wasn't enough on your Sunday, you've got this at 5:30. You've got the women's final. It's incredible. What a Sunday. What a Sunday you've got. Of course, these two have played some great Challenge Cup. Of course, first time they played this year. Wigan absolutely bad. And then a brilliant game at the Brick, 22 apiece. That was an absolute belter. And then a couple of weeks ago, 24-20. I mean, there's no doubt Saints have improved. Saints have got up to speed over the last few weeks and months. This is going to be a barnstormer. Joel, Wigan or Saints for the grand final?
Oh, fantastic game, this. I'm very much looking forward to seeing this. I'm going to have to go Wigan. They've been so good.
And Steph?
I'm going to go Wigan as well. And no more so Grace Banks, the lady front and centre there, Lee Miners. What a player. Standout season for her, made up for them, for their achievements. And it'll be great for women's rugby, for Wigan, to show the pathway. They broke. We talk about the mould of the top four. They've broke the mould in the women's game, haven't they, Wigan? They've broke that Saints, Leeds, York. They've really come into it this year, and they've been phenomenal. So it'd be great to see them emulate what the men did last year and take all the prizes.
Let's not forget Eva Hunter as well, 26 tries this season and counting for the Warriors, and up, of course, for Woman of Steel. So that'll be interesting. Right, it's now time to announce the Super League Raw Young Player of the Year 2025. It is now time to announce the Super League Raw Young Player of the Year 2025. And the award goes to Harry Robertson of St Helens. An outstanding season in centre. Where would they have been without him? Well done to Harry Robertson. So there you go. Harry Robertson has got the wink this year at Super League Raw for Young Player of the Year. A couple of reasons for this. One, I think centre's a much tougher position than fullback and on wing. I'd have to say that. And for Harry to be, going up against the players he's gone up against in centre this year, I couldn't look beyond that. Incredible stats. I mean, he's up against a fullback and two wingers here. Jake Fulis as well. I had to put Jake on the graphic. Jake Fulis this year for Warrington. Got to give him his due. 20 appearances, 14 tries. Great effort from the young man. Flanagan, 23 appearances, 10 tries, 5 assists, 88 busts, 14 breaks, 13 offloads, a tackle efficiency of 77%. But then you come to Harry, 21 appearances, 12 tries, 5 assists, 87 busts, 13 breaks, 5 offloads, a tackle efficiency of 86%. We know Lewis Martins is in the dream team, winger. It's two different positions. But for me, as a centre, as a young centre, that's a difficult position. We've seen how long it's took Davy Litten at Hull FC to really get a season like he's had this year. Harry Robertson's done it straight from the get-go. And then when you look at the other stats, he's been in 4 team of the weeks, more than any of the other 3. He's been in 1 team in a month, and he's been in 6 of the top 3s this season. Incredible. Harry Robertson, Young Player of the Year, Super League Raw. Joel, any argument with that?
I think it was always going to be between him and George Flanagan, I'd imagine, based off stats and things. But I think the two things that
Martin's running him close, mate.
he is, but playing on the wing, is once again maybe slightly easier than it would be at fullback, and obviously not as hard as it is, like you said, at centre. And I think that's one of the things being playing centre is one of the I think, and also his defence was better than George's. So I think that puts him just above George in that regard. Otherwise, I think George will be a close second, if not third, to Martin.
I mean, in a season, Steph, where it's fair to say that the established pros at St Helens have having, not Alex Walmsley, of course, and not Morgan Knowles, but there's been a few wobbling in Saints. They haven't been as good as they should have been, not really at the best. Harry Robertson has played for me beyond his years, not only in terms of the way he's played, but also the way in which he's carried himself. I mean, no better example, not that was included in this decision, because of course it's over 27 rounds. I didn't take into account the elimination, but he did show so much composure in that last play for Saints that perhaps some of his other teammates this season have lacked.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been exceptional. It's interesting for me that none of the top 4 sides are represented. in this, which is interesting. I'd probably divide that graphic in half because Harry Robertson, Lewis Martin came onto the scene last year. I think George Flanagan and Jake. If there was a breakout player, then I'd probably give it to George Flanagan. And with Jake closely behind him, Jake's had a phenomenal season. But Lewis Martin for me has been unbelievable for FC, rightly getting his dream team place. But Harry Robertson, if I'm going to pick one player here that's going to be a absolute nailed on England player, I'd pick Harry Robertson.
Yeah, he's been absolutely superb. So Harry Robertson gets our Young Player of the Year. That is the Super League Raw Awards for 2025. We hope you've enjoyed that show. We enjoy doing this one every year. We are going to be having other awards over the winter. We're going to have a couple of fun ones over the winter that we're going to give out as well. But yeah, like I say, these things, there's always going to be opinion. Who's right, who's wrong. We've tried our best to substantiate why we've picked the players that we have picked. And may the debate continue, because after all, respectful debate is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Right, we haven't got time to do any predictions. We're going to have to leave that to Captain's Run. It's been a packed show. Captain's Run this Thursday, time to be confirmed. Steph, myself, as always, will be there. But obviously, we are asking, all the other fans, do you want to come on? You can come on. We want at least one representative from each team to come on that particular episode. We'll go through all the stats as usual and we'll get the predictions. It would be amiss of me, though, not to just quickly show you this, the top three, and it's all square going into the semi-finals. A great week for Mr. Sale. He went Saints 1-8. That really nailed him. A great week. He got 7 points, 5 points for the members. It's all square, 389 apiece with 3 games to go. Unfortunately for Reggie now, I think it's third. It's between Steph and it's between the members. That's going to be absolutely outstanding. Of course, join us for the Captain's Run where we will be talking about this one. Game 1 of the semi-finals. Warriors against the Leopards. 16,000 tickets already sold. With Leafers trying to get anywhere. They're trying to get in the stands. They're getting up with the pigeons and they're getting everywhere they are. It's unbelievable what the Leafers are trying to do to get into this ground. Come on, Wigan Warriors. Give them a bigger allocation. Give them a bigger section of the ground. We want a packed, rammed brick community for this one. 16,000, absolutely wonderful. We'll be getting into all the detail, the key matchups like we always do on Captain's Run, and of course we'll also discuss the other semi. Robins against, who would believe it, the Saints. Can the Saints do it again? Unbelievable. The last thing from me, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. As we always say, we don't sell magazines, folks. We don't sell our reports to newspapers. The only income that we have is through our members. That's it. Through our members. Without you, we can't do it. So, you might be looking at it and going, I'm getting it for free. Yeah, you are. But, if you're buying magazines, if you're buying papers or things like that, we've got no revenue streams. The only thing we've got is you. So please do consider supporting us in any way you can by becoming a member. Go to our website, superleagueraw.com. On behalf of myself, Steph, and Reggie, who's long since gone with his Wi-Fi, enjoy between now and Thursday. We'll be back for the Captain.
And Joel.
I'm sorry, Joel. My apologies, Joel. Did I say Joel? On behalf of Steph, Joel, and of course Greg, who is long since gone with his Wi-Fi. Stop. I love Joel. He knows all of it. It's been a great night. We've enjoyed that. Let the debate continue, and we'll be back on Thursday for the penultimate Captain's Run of 2025. Bye for now, folks.